Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole and it's by user Silence Fiction. Am I the a-hole for not letting my pregnant sister sleep in my bed? I, 26 male, rent a small 2-bedroom apartment. I live alone, but I use the second bedroom as my office because I work from home full time. My older sister Lily, 31 female, is 6 months pregnant and soon to be a single mother. She has some issues with her apartment. She is in a disagreement with her landlord and in the process of moving out. So she asked if she could stay with me for a few weeks. Of course, I said yes and that I would be happy to accommodate her for as long as she needed. She moved in last week, and the first thing she did when settling in was pointing towards my bed and saying, "I'll take this one." I laughed, thinking she was joking. Only later in the evening, when I asked her if she needs anything else before going to bed, she mentioned that she was not joking about wanting to sleep in my bed. Now, I'm a little bit germophobic, and I am quite uncomfortable with the idea of other people sleeping in my bed. I told her that I am uncomfortable letting anyone else sleep in my bed, but I will gladly set her up with my guest bed, which I did used to sleep on before buying my current bed, and I know for a fact is very comfortable and spacious. Then she started guilt-tripping me, saying that since she got pregnant, she's having problems falling asleep and that she needs the bigger, more comfortable bed. I stood my ground and told her I was happy to accommodate her, but I wasn't giving up my bedroom. She sulked, but she took the guest bed. That lasted exactly 2 nights before she started complaining that the bed was too stiff and that she couldn't sleep. I offered to buy a new mattress topper, but she refused. Instead, she tried to pull the "you're my brother, you should want to make me comfortable" guilt trip again. I told her that she is lucky I can even take her in, since I work 10 hours a day from home and I do value having a work environment that's private, calm, and quiet. She called me selfish and accused me of not caring about her or her baby. I told her she could take the couch if the guest bed was that unbearable. Well, she did, but exactly for 1 night before turning into an absolute menace. In the second night on the couch, she made sure to sigh loudly all night, accidentally bump into things, and complain the next morning about how horrible I was making her feel. The following day, she kept making calls and talking loudly on the phone while I was working. I didn't pay attention to the actual calls and what she was saying, but later it became very clear. In the evening, I started getting phone calls from most, if not all, of my family members. Apparently, she was ranting all day on the phone to my family about how rude and how horrible I was making her feel, trying to make my family put pressure on me just to let her sleep in my bed. Like she's on a mission or something. My mom took her side and tore me a new one on the phone, saying that Lily is carrying a child and I'm being inconsiderate. She also said, "I thought I taught you better hospitality than this. I am very disappointed." My aunt called to tell me that my uncle, her husband, used to sleep on the couch and sometimes on the floor next to her when she was pregnant. Even my cousin, who I haven't spoken to in like 2 years, called me to tell me I'm being selfish. My father is taking my side, telling me to ignore them and that my sister is an F-up, that she got in that situation in the first place. But I feel like my mom is giving him a super hard time in the background because he did sound kind of hesitant when I asked him to have my back. Honestly, I'm just feeling like in the middle of a soap opera drama. My mom is threatening to come take Lily home. Yeah, like that's much of a threat. But she's giving me such a hard time and telling me I disappointed her and that she raised me better. I don't know how to feel about this anymore. Am I the a-hole for not letting my pregnant sister sleep in my bed? Of course you're not the a-hole, OP. You're doing your sister a favor. Why doesn't your mom just come pick her up already, or any of those other family members that told you to sleep on the floor? What the hell? If I was in your shoes, OP, I would just tell my mom, "So, when are you coming to pick up Lily? Is this afternoon work for you? Since you didn't raise me like this, I'm sure you are a much better host, Mom. You can definitely house your baby girl for as long as she needs." And then I tell my sister to pack her crap. She's getting picked up. I mean, what else does she want from you? You offered her everything. You just have one boundary, your bed, and that's it. But no, she decided to go for the power play. Well, she can go have a debate with your mom to see who sleeps in which bed. Not the a-hole. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section, and now let's check out the community comments. Spooty Probes says, not the a-hole. Tell your sister your mom has offered to let her stay, so pack your bags if the guest bed is uncomfortable. Everyone who has called, call them back and ask when they intend to pick up your sister to stay with them. Fun Professional 570 says, get her out of your house as soon as possible. You're going to end up with her in your room, maybe in guest room, and you're going to be sleeping on the couch. Check your lease and tenancy laws. Do not let her use your address for mail. Seriously, get her out before she gives birth. Ship her off to mom. Azura12 says, quote, my mom is threatening to come take Lily home. Yeah, like that's much of a threat. But she's giving me such a hard time and telling me I disappointed her and that she raised me better. Not the a-hole. And I would just say, oh, sure, that's a perfect plan. You can come tomorrow and pick her up and take her home. I'm sure she will be much more comfortable there than at my place. Why didn't you offer this before, knowing how small my place was and knowing that conflicts would happen? But yeah, go ahead and pick her up, because if she continues to disturb my work, well, I don't know how long she can stay in this house in general. Structure Key 2739 says, tell each and every one of your family members calling to bully you that you'll be happy to tell dear entitled sister that they've offered their homes and the pick of whatever she wants. Then hang up and give sister their address. Her demanding your bedroom is the first step in staying permanently with you, paying for everything. Get her out now, or you'll be also supporting your nibbling. Well, the community agrees that OP is definitely not the a-hole and that he needs to get rid of his sister. So, let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. First of all, I want to thank you guys for the overwhelming support. This blew up way beyond anything I expected. Wow. I really appreciate you all for taking the time to chime in and sharing your opinion. You guys really helped reassure me and gave me confidence in my own feelings that my private space has been disrespected and, quite frankly, violated. I would like to answer a few common questions I saw in the comments. 1. The guest bed is in the living room. It's stored in the second bedroom, my office. But whenever I have a guest, I set it up in the living room. The living room space is quite big and can comfortably fit the guest bed, couch, and living room table as well. 2. I, in fact, did not get my sister pregnant. What the F, guys? 3. My parents live 4.5 hours away and they are the closest family members to my apartment. That is why I didn't initially think of suggesting anyone to come and pick up Lily to take her to their place. And 4. Lily is moving out of her current apartment because it is being sold and the new owners aren't sure if they want to keep renting it or what to charge exactly. So that's why she's moving out. Anyways, here's the update. My mother made the drive over yesterday. She came in quite furious, barely said a word to me, and wanted to just take Lily and leave as soon as possible. She had that cold, disappointed look on her face. It broke my heart, honestly. I told them, Lily and my mother, that I wanted to talk and explain my side of the story. I told them both that I didn't want them to leave on bad terms. I sat them down in the living room and explained my side of things. I also decided to show them the original post, and it did help calm them down and make them second-guess their opinions. Also, I believe they were quite embarrassed, judging by the look on their faces when I showed them the post, to see everything written out like that, but they didn't dare say a word about it, although in the end, they both agreed that my apartment is my personal space and also my workplace, and they understood why it was difficult for me to give up my bed. It wasn't totally smooth though. They still gave me a bit of a hard time, saying that while they do understand my side now, I could have still been the bigger person and just let Lily sleep in my bed. At least they did drop the whole "you're selfish" act. As for the rest of the family, I demanded that my sister called each and every one of them and let them know my side and calm them down. Lily was reluctant at first, but my mother gave her the look and eventually she came around and told me she'd do it on the drive back to my parents. I was honestly surprised she'd agreed. My aunt even called me today to apologize. That was definitely unexpected and very satisfying. Lily is now staying at my parents', and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if I get a call in a few weeks with them ranting about her being entitled in their house. Can't wait to see how they'll handle that one. Hopefully, this is the last time I'll have to deal with this. Lily still needs to move her stuff from her old apartment, which is a 30-minute drive from me, so I know she's going to ask for my help. Not that I would mind, I would be happy to help her, but I'm worried she might want to come stay at my place again or use my place to store some of her stuff. Also, she might bring this whole thing up again and I couldn't be asked to deal with it once again. That's a problem for another day though, hopefully not. So in the end, I believe it turned out the best way possible and I have you guys to thank for that. Seriously, I appreciate each and every one of you who took their time to comment on my original post. Thank you. Well, it'll be good for you. They eventually saw your side of things. Now, you do raise a very important point. Maybe when your sister asks you to help with her stuff, you tell her something like, sure, let's get a U-Haul and take it to mom and dad's house. That way, getting through your house is not even an option on the table. In any case, OP, here's wishing you the best. Thanks for sharing and take care. And now, let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit amitheasshole and it's by user substantialage201. Am I the a-hole for calling out my sister in front of our family? So this has caused a massive blow up in my family and I need to know if I went too far. I, 26 female, have an older sister, Emma, 29 female, who has always had a habit of playing the victim. Growing up, she would get away with everything by twisting situations to make herself look like the wounded party. If she broke something, it was because I distracted her. If she missed a deadline, it was because I stressed her out. You get the idea. Recently, my parents hosted a big family dinner. And Emma was going on about how hard her life has been lately, how she's struggling with work, how people always seem to use her, and how no one in the family supports her. Normally, I just ignore it, but then she directly called me out, saying that I've never been there for her and have always made things harder for her. That set me off. I reminded her in front of everyone that I was the one who covered her rent when she was between jobs. I was the one who took care of her dog when she went on a last-minute vacation, and I was the one who spent my money to bail her out when she got into credit card debt. I basically laid out everything I had done for her that she conveniently forgot. She started crying, calling me cruel and saying I embarrassed her. My parents told me I should have talked to her privately instead of humiliating her. But honestly, I was tired of her narrative making me look like the bad guy. Now half the family is on my side while the other half thinks I was out of line for calling her out in front of everyone. So, am I the a-hole? No, OP, and I honestly have no time for people like your sister. So she gets to play the victim and say that everything is your fault and that you've never been there for her, and she does this in front of everyone. But when you set the record straight, you're cruel for humiliating her? F that, F your victim of a sister, and F your enabling parents. Honestly, man, people like your sister tick me off. Zero accountability. I don't understand how they can go through life just liking being a victim. There's no pride in that. Ugh. Alright, now I'm just ranting. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's check out the community comments. I would say that you weren't calling her out, you were responding to her calling you out for not being there for her. Say that you were humiliated and hurt by her words that she didn't think twice about saying in front of everyone. Ask if they told her that she should have talked to you privately. Pass Comprehensive 425 says, not the a-hole. Tell mom and dad you're done with your sister throwing you under the bus. Every single time she lies about you in public, you're going to expose her in public. So dear sis, better start thinking about what she says when she starts her next woe is me tirade. If your parents want to keep the peace, they need to control your sister. Servant Girl 789 says, not the a-hole. You were publicly accused by your sister so she could get some sympathy. She had no leg to stand on, and I hope you'll refrain from helping her in the future. She's a liar and a narcissist. And Ginger630 says, not the a-hole. So it's okay for your sister to call you out in front of everyone with false allegations, but you correct her publicly and you are the problem? Now I see why your sister is like this. Your parents coddled her. They probably blamed you every time she messed up, which is why she learned to do it. Ask them why she didn't discuss her issues with you privately. Hell, at the next family dinner, call them out. They all need a timeout. No more dinners until they all sincerely apologize to you. And no more bailing out your sister or helping her out. Last minute vacation? Get a dog sitter. Lost her job? Find another one. Credit card debt? Get a second job and stop buying crap. Your wallet is closed. No more helping her. She doesn't deserve it and doesn't appreciate it. If she asks, direct her to your parents. Well, the community is pretty much in sync that OP is not the a-hole and that she should just stop helping her sister altogether. So now let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. I wanted to give everyone a final update on the situation because things have taken a pretty definitive turn. After the dinner, things only got worse. My parents, after hearing both sides, decided to completely cut me off. They were furious with how I handled things in front of the family and said I crossed a line that couldn't be undone. They told me they were disappointed in me for humiliating Emma like that and that they couldn't support me anymore while I continued to cause so much tension. They've completely stopped talking to me and they've made it clear that their relationship with me won't be the same going forward. They're fully backing Emma now, even though she hasn't apologized or acknowledged anything I've done for her. As for Emma, she has not apologized. She actually made things worse by claiming I was the one who hurt her and that she could never trust me again. She hasn't taken responsibility for anything, still clinging to her victim mentality. She has no intention of changing or admitting that I've helped her out in so many ways. I feel like it's just playing the role of the martyr, and at this point, I'm exhausted. I've made my peace with the fact that my relationship with my parents is over for now, and that Emma and I are done. I can't keep fighting for a relationship with people who won't see what I've done for them, and who are willing to throw me under the bus without a second thought. I'm done being the scapegoat, and I'm not going to keep putting myself in the position where I'm expected to give everything for people who won't even acknowledge it. I guess this is it. I've cut them out of my life, and while it hurts, I know that it's what's best for me in the long run. No more trying to please people who don't care about me in return. Thanks for all the advice and support. I'll be focusing on myself from here on out. Good for you, OP, and good riddance to the lot of them. So honestly, OP, make sure you keep them blocked because they will be back and they will try to guilt trip you into helping them in some way by saying, family helps family. So stay strong, OP, and here's wishing you the best. Thanks for sharing and take care. And now let's finish this video with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliant and it's by user DocHank. Employers, careful what you ask for. I'm an emergency physician. I work in emergency departments in hospitals. An interesting specialty in medicine. Different patients every day, except for the frequent flyers, but that's another story. Now, especially in the winter time, EDs are full of people, with usually long wait times, and we take people in order of severity, not first come, first serve. So, I'm at work and get a new patient. The chart says, needs a work note. I go into the cubicle and see a patient that is obviously ill. After 40 years of experience, I can size patients up pretty well from across the room. This woman was ill. Vitals were not good. Fever of 102 Fahrenheit, the works. The monitor shows her heart is okay, pulse is a little high, blood pressure is a little low, high fever. Talking to her, she tells me she's got a cold. Now, I tend to appreciate it when patients just tell me the truth. She didn't claim to have COVID, pneumonia, anthrax, don't ask, or anything but a cold. Which, being a virus, there's not a hell of a lot I can do for her, so I ask why she came in. Turns out she's been ill for 2 days. Her fever is actually down with her taking Tylenol and drinking fluids. No kidding. And her employer wants a doctor's note for more paid time off. This woman waited in the emergency department waiting room for, checks the record, 5.5 hours to get a damn note for work? Not her fault though, it's her employer's. So I ask her how much time they will give her paid off. There's no limit, she said. I just need a doctor saying I need it. Got it. So she went home with a lovely note giving her 2 weeks off with pay and instructions to return for additional time if she needs it to recover. I really hate employers that demand asinine notes like this. Fight the stupidity. Well, the employer just wanted the note, and that's exactly what you gave him, OP. Thanks for sharing. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe